We are the HPI-DigitalBlog, and we're here today at the Design Thinking ImpAct Conference with Bettina Michl. Ms. Michl, you have been working at Data4Life in the area of user research since 2019, and will be speaking today at the panel on design thinking and digital health. What exactly is the role of design thinking in digital health?
Yeah, that's a very good question. From my perspective, it's bringing the patient or the human back into some of the processes, some of the products, some of the thinking. I think to really enable patient-centered solutions, design thinking is a great tool. Also to take the stakeholders and the partners more into account. Sometimes we tend to think I develop something and people will be happy, but really forcing in a way people to talk to the stakeholders beforehand, to really make sure to integrate all the roles that are supposed to be profiting from a certain solution need to be taken into account early on. I think that's an important aspect. But I think another aspect of design thinking, I believe, will be very, or is helpful, especially in digital health, is this collaborative approach. So the interdisciplinary working is really, really helpful because healthcare is very complex. There's a lot of stakeholders and their needs and their wishes and their constraints also that you need to be aware of and that you need to take into account very early on to make sure a solution is not only innovative but will also be implemented in the long run. And that's something sometimes the bigger challenge than just to create a great idea or a great solution.
Based on that, what role would you say design thinking plays overall in the professional world?
I think design thinking can bring people together. That it's really a great tool to create cross-departmental collaboration, and that's something that is really needed to solve complex problems, but also to solve very regular problems in the professional world. I think another aspect is of design thinking is that we always remind teams of the user, of stakeholders that need to be involved. And that's also something that I think where professionals can profit from, not to sit in our office, but to actually go into the real world, try to talk to end users, try to have an actual open conversation with a client and not just rely on assumptions that you have gathered over your career, but really to take the time and go out in the healthcare area, of course, go out and talk to patients, be with doctors, talk to researchers and healthcare professionals. But that's really true for any other industry. And it's not only understanding the user better and then designing better products, but also it's a great way for people themselves within organizations. I've seen that a lot, to gain a bit the sense or to re-understand the purpose of why they initially entered that that industry. Why did I decide to become a healthcare professional? Why did I decide to become a software developer? I want to help people. I want to solve certain kind of problems and issues for a group of humans. And so, that's where I think design thinking also helps, in my experience, to regain sometimes a bit this sense of purpose that you can lose in the day-to-day business sometimes.
Here at the conference, you are holding a workshop on how a human-centered design approach can take the biggest threat to humanity more into account. What is this biggest threat you speak of? And would you like to reiterate what it has to do with design thinking?
Yes, of course. Well, that's a bit of my personal passion, I have to say, or my personal project. I think the biggest threat to our society is climate change, and it's really a huge challenge. We have droughts, we face flooding, even in Germany, not in like distant parts of the world only, where it's bad enough. And I think we really need to take immediate action. And yet it's really, really hard. You look around, and things don't really change that fast. And when you think about climate change, it's a very broad threat, so to say. And and we come from a human-centered approach. And I was wondering if we may need to change our paradigm to from human-centered to, I don't know, planet-centered, or how to integrate this, the so-called planetary boundaries, into the design thinking process. Like, where can we think about those aspects and needs from, let's say, planet Earth within the process? And I don't have the answer myself either. That's why I thought this would be a great opportunity to see and invite other design thinkers to think about it, and to really make it more concrete, on where can we integrate the different existing solutions, and the different existing needs that our planet has, that are out there, within an approach that has been now it's kind of maturing, or it's mature enough to maybe also change it or adapt it to new paradigms that we face now.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. I was happy to be here. Thanks.